Breaking Records Radio and the place to be. You know what it is. It's your host, Maloney. Excuse me. And you are now tuned into another episode of Indie Spotlight. This is the second ever episode. And to be completely honest with you, the first episode was kind of a fluke. We didn't mean that to be the first episode. It just kind of worked that way. So that being said, this guest that I have today, he was initially scheduled to be the first guest on this show that we're doing. And just to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown before we get into the interview about the program, Indie Spotlight, if you're familiar with Breaking Records Radio, over the years, you know, we've shared the platform with up-and-coming artists as much as big-ticket artists. And the thing with that is, over the years, I think, to a degree, it has cheapened the brand a little bit because it is, it's kind of, there's no exclusivity to it. So what we've decided to do is moving forward as we do this rebrand and bring new programs out, we didn't want to abolish the concept of giving the up-and-coming MCs a spot to come showcase the talents. But more so the way we're going to approach it moving forward is instead of, you know, anybody who hits us up, hey, can we do an interview? Yeah, let's do one. We're specifically picking out artists that we see on the come up who are making a name for themselves, who are moving the right way, who got the grind, who pretty much have everything going in their favor. You know, and they just got to keep the grind going. And so with no further ado, that being said, allow us to bring you our second guest right here, the one and only Jay Roberts, my friend. How are you doing?
Pretty good, brother. How are you?
I can't complain, man. I'm really excited to actually get this, officially get this program going, man. Like I said, when we set this up, you were supposed to be the first guest. It just so happened I had an interview I had done prior to that didn't really have a home in our rebrand. So we decided to make that the first episode, but this is kind of the first official episode of Indie Spotlight. And we're honored to have you on as the first guest, man. And before we really dig into the meat and potatoes of Jay Roberts, I just want to give a small kind of interlude. I became familiar with this MC through the Breaking Records Radio contest we're doing. I believe he's entered all three. If not, I know he entered the first two 100%. Did you enter the third one as well?
I did the Jack one. I did the classified one, and where he was like one of the judges.
Yeah.
I think I did three. What was your last one?
The last one was the spring breaking one. I know you did the Christmas one, and I know you did the classified one.
I don't think I did the spring break one.
Okay. But anyways, just saying that to say, you know, he was one of the artists that through entering the contest, I took notice of. You know, in the first one, you know, I remember saying, yo, this guy killed it. He didn't quite meet the mark of, you know, because there was a lot of competition. But on the second one, I picked him to be on the my song on the Recognition project because I thought his verse was dope. I thought everything was well put together. And just the growth I've seen from that time in this following year, bro, has been great, man. And, you know, that's exactly why I wanted to reach out to you to be the first guest. And now I'm not going to go through any more of the accolades because we're going to let you talk about that yourself. But I just wanted to give an interlude how I became familiar with you.
Salute. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No doubt, man. So now it's time for me to shut the fuck up and we're going to let Jay Roberts talk. So first and foremost, man, tell us a little bit about your upbringing, like just growing up, like not even necessarily getting into hip hop at this point, but just kind of like where you grew up, kind of what your upbringing was like.
Upbringing was your typical rough and tough life. Father left, mother was single for a minute, just toughing it out. Mainly like throughout the years, music became like a crutch, you know, like something I could lean on. And from the likes of like Tupac and all them lads, they helped me like prosper through a mental state, you know what I mean? Which then turned into an obsession, then turned into writing. And yeah, pretty much just it was tough, you know, moved around a lot, lived in various areas, born in Scarborough, lived in various different towns, moved a fucking lot, man.
And through all this moving around, I guess, would you say that's kind of what made you identify with hip hop? Because like just for me, right, my identification with hip hop came very much in the sense like I didn't move around a whole lot, but I was very overweight as like a kid, right? Like a little kid. Before other people I knew, you know, I grew up in a town called Brantford. When I was, you know, in the 90s, there weren't a lot of kids my age listening to hip hop, but I was able to identify with hip hop because, for one, the confidence, right? The confidence, I don't give a fuck attitude, the, you know, I can face any adversity. But on top of that, it was like, rappers were kind of like, you know, I was never into comics and stuff, but rappers were kind of like superheroes. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
You know, it's like, once you pick that pen up, you almost kind of created an identity for yourself, and it didn't matter what the reality you were living was.
Facts. That's exactly how I kind of looked at it, which started off as like poetry in a sense. I was really heavy in poetry. I'd probably write almost every day. And then that turned into just doing freestyles in the cafeteria, grade 9, just, you know, shooting it with the boys. And then I just kept grinding. I've been almost making music for like 15 years in a sense.
No shit, eh? That's interesting, actually, because when you say that, your story actually, like, not the personal side, but the music side of it sounds very, very kind of in lieu with mine as well. So actually, I do want to ask too. This notches it back a little bit, but what were like your earliest influences? Like, what was the first rap record you remember hearing where you're like, oh, what's this?
I'd have to say it was probably All Eyes on Me by Tupac. Was probably one of the main ones I heard, or Fugees' The Score. I know my mother played that. Same with Lauryn Hill, Miseducation. Those were the early onsets where I was like, damn. Then I remember my uncle used to slip me the CDs I wasn't allowed to listen to. He'd put like Wu-Tang in a Will Smith CD, and I'd bump it in my disc bin, you know, no trouble here. Mother and father didn't know. So it's like, you know, I was early on set, brought to those influences by my uncle pretty much. He showed me the ways.
Hey, the more you tell me, the more I feel I can relate with you, man. And did you say it was the first person was your brother, or did you say your mother was bumping the Fugees? Pretty
much my mother and uncle. My mother loves R&B and hip hop, like cleaning the house. That's all I ever heard was that type of stuff. You know, Rap City and like 96, 97 being played.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. And for me, it was my brother, right? My brother's 12 years elder. So, you know, I just remember going in his room when he'd leave the crib and sifting through a CD book. And I'm like, what is a super duper fly Missy Elliott? What?
Yes.
What is a Dr. Dre? You know what I mean? But I was so fascinated by these covers and stuff, right? And it's ironically as well, the first hip hop song I ever remember hearing was California Love by Tupac. Seeing the
there
music
we are.
video.
That's
and
right.
there we are. All Eyes on Me. So,
yep.
Yeah, very, very similar in that regard. And the funny thing you said too, your uncle getting you the Wu-Tang, I remember distinctively, my parents wouldn't buy me parental advisory sticker CDs.
Nope.
So I went to Cash Converters one day and I seen 36 Chambers, and my parents had no idea what Wu-Tang was. So I put my thumb over the parental advisory and said, Dad, can you buy me this? And he said, yes. And I got away with it.
Yo, the 36 Chambers was the exact CD for me. My dad read the lyrics, and because do you remember the company that you used to order through a brochure? Columbia. That's right. So my mom would tell me pick 5 albums, and then once he read the lyrics, he's like, "You're not listening to this." And then that's where my uncle would slip it in a Will Smith CD.
That's awesome, man. I still remember hanging out with my boy Spencer in like grade 4, taking the boombox behind the tree in the backyard.
Yes.
And on repeat, oh fucking.
Like, yeah.
You can say that.
Put that shit in your ass slow, like pause.
But man, so I think that's interesting. And then you were rapping all through high school and stuff too. So I gotta ask this then, because I mean, the current image that you have, you know, put out of yourself, you have actually quite a tight, pretty short catalog. Did you actually just start recording music as of recently, or do you have a past catalog that you've kind of buried and hidden? Okay,
so I collectively, my very first song I recorded was I was 16 with an artist in my high school that was huge. His name was Junior Wisdom, and he was massive, opening for Classified back in the day, kind of like who I looked up to. He let me jump on the track, and that was my first official one. Then after that, I always wrote. Then I moved to Barrie when I was 19 and ended up meeting one of my good friends now, which is his name's Corey. And he heard me freestyling before we went downtown. and he's like, I'm building you a studio. Like, you know, you're talented. So he built the studio. I probably recorded at least 200 songs. Never will be seen. That shit's in the vault. Not that they weren't good enough. It's just, I don't know. I had like an addiction to recording, but just didn't have the drive to put it out there. I guess I just didn't feel polished enough. Fast forward to, I took a break when I was like 27. You know, I was in a relationship. It just wasn't catered to me having time to do that. That left, and I jumped back. And funny story, Michael Osborne, he told me, you need to jump back on the mic and join this contest. And I'm like, what's the contest? Lo and behold, it's Breaking Wreckords, your first contest. That was the very first. Yeah, that's the very first thing I wrote in really years. Put myself out there, made my Instagram account for the first time. It's been just over a year since I started that. And that is what started me to re-love it and take it more serious. It was all because of that.
Man. See, that's a beautiful thing, man. You know, like just to even hear stories like that makes the shit all worth it. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people don't realize, but you know, running these contests and shit, it's a lot of work. You know, you get a lot of rappers who, like, you know, all they want to do is come for your head when you're running. That's the contest. Like, bro, we're providing you opportunity. We're not charging you nothing.
Stay humble.
Join and have fun, right? And I'll be honest, that's why we stopped doing the contest. Was
I don't blame you.
Got really tired of entitled MCs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just, you know, like, oh, we're gonna expose your content, and it's like, bro, we're providing.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry you didn't land top 3. It's voted on by what, like 12 people? Like,
that's right.
You know, there's no politics here. Nobody we know personally has ever won a contest. You know,
exactly.
But that being said, you know, it's the stories like what you just said that make the shit so beautiful, man. That make it worth it. That's a beautiful thing, man. I'm really, you know, I'm kind of lost for words actually. That you even said that, bro. That's a beautiful thing, man. And with that being said, man, so we can just jump right into the meat and potatoes now, man. You know, I like the people to get a bit of an understanding, you know, kind of where your head's at, how you got to where you're at. But you know, once you came out the gate, I mean, first you came out with the Architects EP with is your homie's name Islo?
Yeah, Islo from the Bay.
Okay. And how did that kind of marriage pair itself for you guys to create a whole EP?
So I started Instagram, and obviously, like, when you're first starting off, you have to put in that fucking work, right? So I started joining a platform, which again, my man Michael Osborne, he told me, like, yo, you need to join this platform and spit some bars. Like, I think you do good in there. It's called Dominion Cyphers. So I started popping off in there after say one season, which was like, I don't know, 10 weeks or whatever. I started noticing my fan base kind of climbing, you know, more interest. Then Eyes Low hit me up and he's like, yo, I really fuck with your style, and I like to make an EP with you. I think that'd be crazy. So I was like, it was kind of the push I needed to make something and put it out there for once. So being from 2 different areas, you know, he found the beats, typical beats I wouldn't rap to, right? Because he's from the Bay. So that shit it's just slapping, you know, it's that West Coast vibe.
More
but
balance.
That's right. And it kind of pushed my pen a bit to switch my style, which was great. So we did that collectively, and it kind of took off. You know, it has 60,000 streams right now, and was just kind of the benchmark to get me on like Spotify and Apple Music and start branding myself.
Yeah, man. I remember when you put it out, and I remember within a short time, you're like, yo, I can't believe the numbers. And I don't think a lot of independent artists realize how hard, I mean, without paid promotion, you know, you could pay people to get on a playlist and run the numbers up. But the thing is about that is once those numbers drop a month later, you're back where you started.
That's right.
So it is Spotify is one of those systems that if you don't really take a lot of time to cater and work towards, it's a hard slope to get up. So, I mean, much congratulations to you to just like tear it off the jump like that. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
No doubt, man. And then and you guys dropped that near the tail end of last year. And then as soon as we kicked this year off, you came in with my friend, you came in with a bang. And, you got the joint Checkmate with Mickey Factz. And, of course, we'll talk about all the accolades. Don't jump the gun on me there, because we're going to get to everything there. But I just want to know, first off, how that joint even came together. And shout out to Blanks on the beat, too.
That's right. So as I'm starting this new journey, I'm always trying to find my niche, my sound, which every artist needs. Like if you listen to Benny the Butcher's last interview a couple of weeks back, he tells you need to find a producer and build your own sound around that and have that relationship. So throughout the months, I've been trying to, build that type of relationship with a producer, find my niche. Philly Regs from Lunchroom Poets, right? So like he's popping off, we kind of been talking, and then I got his Blood Brothers. I think it was an album EP, whatever it was just fucking banging. The beats were slapping. Lo and behold, I found out that it's Blanks who's his producer. So I messaged Blanks, hard to contact that man. I'm not really known. I'm like an up and comer. The follow count isn't quite as lucrative, he finally reaches back and allows me to get a beat pack. So he sends me the beat to Checkmate, and instantly I was like, boom. I'm like, I don't even need to hear the rest of it. I just heard the first 10 seconds. That's mine. Cop the beat. I wrote that shit in like fucking 24 hours, and I was just sitting on it, and I'm like, I need to invest a bit. So I reached out to Mickey Factz. We were chopping up a bit, and it all made sense, came together. He sent me my verse, and history was already set for me right there.
Yeah, man. Well, he bodied that, which is impressive, because a lot of times you can cop a verse off somebody and then just give you some. No, but he bodied that. And to see him sharing it on his own platform and stuff, that's really dope. To see Pack for the Plug, post that stuff, super dope. Super good luck. But and one thing I want up and coming artists, which is the premise of the show, right? Indie Spotlight, is this is like the blueprint that you're seeing Jay Roberts do right here. This is the blueprint. Now, a lot of cats think that they can just survive off skills. And unfortunately, there's a million dope rappers out there. And to be honest, unless you're absolutely super consistent, probably even a little good looking, putting your face on camera all the time, and just got like some sort of catchy thing going on with your voice, and you're just constantly hammering it and working hard. And we're talking consistent work. It's very hard to garner a buzz. What you did is what it's realistically what most indie artists should do when they're starting their career. But the thing is, it's that rapper ego, bro. And the thing you were not scared to go right off the jump after that EP and be like, all right, you know what? I need to invest in myself. The most important work, invest in yourself. And that's something, unfortunately, most artists don't do their whole career. And I know some super talented guys who could be a lot further in their career if they would just invest in themselves once in a while.
That's right. Like, I wrote it. I knew it was a hater. I found my niche, my sound. I got that, like, I've always been a gritty rapper with like a lot of wordplay, lyricism. Through trial and error, through starting this new journey, I've even egotistical before, typical young rapper. I never would have took any advice. I had a couple of people, like Show Rocka from Instagram. He's a cat from New York, and Key Double from Star and Life. They type of guys like that kind of gave me that insight to where I found my pocket, and I learned more on the song, my cadences. So now I'm in a lane now where it's like I've mastered my craft in a sense. And after that verse and that song, it's the benchmark now for my debut album.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say too, because as much as that's the perfect blueprint to start with, I also have to ask on the tail end, do you find it almost difficult now to create because you're like, I got to live up to this? Like, you set the bar that high on your first solo single.
Yeah. So that's funny that you say that. Yeah, like I had no idea that it would be like that because other people, you can get a Mickey feature, you can get any feature, but like not to be cocky, like not everyone's gonna, not every single is gonna blow up like that. I know, I know a lot of Mickey features that do not blow up like that. So you have to, it has to be a blend of both. Like I got a reviewer from, you're probably not familiar with, they're called Not Your Mans. And they're very to the point critique where like, if they don't fuck with you, they're giving it to you completely blunt. And he demonstrated perfect. It's like, it's the perfect loop of a song. So you just got to get that. I found that recipe, So moving forward, am I kind of like hard to top in a sense, but I know that the wheels are in motion. So I just got to keep the drive and the consistency. And I'll know I'll get there.
Hey, 100%, man. And, with that being said too, a lot of times when you're starting off, now, I mean, it's different circumstances, right? But a lot of times there's a boost, right? When you jump off, right? And then there's a drop-off point. And it's that drop-off point that you got to work through, which really shows the people that have the work ethic to make it last and the people who don't, you know what I mean? But the thing that's different with you is most of the time that starting off artist is not starting off by investing in themselves. So that's why I was so impressed by watching you take that move, because I'm like, okay, well, even, there might be that discouragement depending, how the next single or the one after that, there might be a decline from what you're used to. But the fact that you're investing in yourself from the rip, I already know you have the persistence that's going to take to cut through that.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have the persistence, and it's almost like I'm still hungry. So in between my singles, I'm still dropping on platforms. I'm still giving you a verse a week and keeping the collective fan base growing and your attention in between my singles, just to keep y'all in tune and just keep feeding you, as Method Man says.
And what you just said is another very perfect thing that I think a lot of artists could learn from is consistency. I'm not telling rappers to drop a song every week. That's counterproductive. You want to promote your single. You shouldn't drop an actual single of your own, in my opinion, any closer than a month apart. And even that's right. That's close. But there's no reason you can't be dropping verses in between and keeping people's attention. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So it's the perfect formula, and you got to keep that consistency. And that's one thing I've seen with you, man, since you kind of really got the music going. You've been staying consistent. You're in my face regardless. You know what I mean? And
that's right.
Really like that. And so that being said too, with the joint Checkmate, you had a couple great things happen with that song, man. First, I believe I have the order correct, but first you got it played on Static Selector's show.
That's right.
So how did that come by? Like, how did you find out about that? Like, how did you send it into him? Did someone else get it to him? Like, how did that whole process go down? And what was it like when you first seen your name on that list?
So the first one was DJ Boogie on the Lord Sear special. I chopped it up with him. He ended up getting Checkmate, and that initial feeling was insane. I tuned in, I knew about it, and it was like the moment everybody waits for. I'm a huge Eminem fan since I was like probably 11 years old. So to be played on Shady 45 was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, not in a sense where I'm good, like musician wise, like I'm good for life. Like that feeling I can't even replace. Then tune in the following week, a couple of days later, I had no fucking idea. I get tagged by Imperative, who's a dope ass producer from Canada.
Are we going where I think we're going right now?
Yeah. And he tags me in Static.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He tags me in the Static post, which shows a list of rappers of Kanye West, The Game, all them mans. And then, where is it? Like 12th in a row. I have it posted right on my wall right there. You see J. Roberts, Mickey Factz, Checkmate. I was fucking blown. Just seeing my name in that lane. Got like 1,000 likes. He sends me the mix cloud, and I'm just listening to that shit. He's like, we're going to send this all the way to Canada to my man J. Roberts. I'm like, whew, blown away. I'm still blown away.
What a beautiful thing, eh? And and then after that, which you can't think it gets much better than that. But then you get premiere, premiere. Wait, you got Eclipse first, didn't you?
No, I didn't get Eclipse.
No, it was right to premiere.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. It was, bro, I didn't even know about that either. Imperative again tags me. I had no fucking idea. I couldn't go into the car or the house and listen. I just seen J. Roberts and I'm like, holy shit. I made premiere. I was like 10th on that list. And that list was even crazier. And like, man, I'm still trying to print it off. And that shit that to me is like, there's no accolade I could attain in my rapping career. I don't even care if it happens again. That to me, just hearing the premiere, and I'm pretty sure Pete Rock was talking before that happened, was probably like, if you listen back, Pete Rock was talking, and then, I'm still blown away, man. That shit is like legendary in my eyes. From a rapper who just started, that's my first single ever put out. I don't even have 1,000 followers. Like, I'm blown away, just blown away.
It's incredible, man. But it goes to show the power of hard work and stuff. And I gotta ask this too, is because a lot of people don't understand the work that goes in on the back end. So like you were talking about, talking with Lord Sear and stuff and sending the music to him. So was all of this a domino from Sear, or did you reach out to numerous people, get numerous people?
This was a domino effect. I don't even still to the days know if Premier got my song.
That's crazy.
There's no means to send it to Premier, at all. I've even tried to look, nowhere to be found.
There's two ways you get a record to Premier, and I can't say them I can't say them on here, but there's two ways to get a record to Premier.
Yeah, and it's like I do know one of the routes, but like even then, your chance is so minuscule because we know the pool of rappers, yeah? And only usually the rappers who have a name are getting in that list.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like winning the lottery as a rapper.
It's a beautiful thing, man. When I seen that, bro, DJ Premier is my hero. So
to
see that, I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, this guy's doing his thing, bro. He's doing it right. And like I said, I was already looking and I'm like, I like how he's moving. I like how he's taking his career. He's taking himself a lot more seriously than a lot of cats out here. Goes out there wahoo. And this guy's humble. He's respectable. And he's treating his career properly. And then so to see the premiere nod, I'm like, bro, I'm proud of you, bro. I know we never even met personally.
Salute.
But just to, to see, like I said, how I caught, how I first became familiar with you, to see the growth, I was like, that's a beautiful thing.
Started with you, man. And even your words of encouragement. I know when you heard my Wreckmas verse, I tuned into the live because I was so hyped to see what people thought. And you were like, man's ate that. Like that. You're like, that's top right there. And like, that was on my come up. You know what I mean? I was still early in my new rap career. So it's like the likes of you breaking records, like those are the type of things that kind of fueled me to start crafting a bit more serious. And now I feel like, which is like a great feeling for me. It's like, I'm taken serious now. You know what I mean? Before it's like, you see J. Robert thing up. It's like, dope. But now it's like at a point where like, if I drop something, tune the fuck in because you know what to expect.
People got to take you serious, man. When people don't, and something I really respect about what you said is the whole reason we built Breaking Records to begin with as a label, as a radio show, is the whole ideology of if nobody's going to let you in the door, you create a fucking door yourself.
That's right.
Nobody playing our shit on the radio. You know what I mean? Nobody was producing records for us. No, you know what I mean? So nobody wanted to distribute us. Nobody, you know what I mean? So we made our own label. We made our own radio show to play our own shit. You know what I mean?
Million streams on YouTube. Like, y'all are killing it, man.
Hey, salute, bro, salute. It's just we're nowhere where we want to be, but we're well on the way. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's all you can say. But just to even hear like things back from you and to see your growth in such a short time, and just to
thank you
even express, kind of how much of a part we may have played in that beginning part is a beautiful thing, man. And that's what we do it for, man. You know what I mean? And you embody the saying, man. If somebody's not going to let you in, you make your own way and you make them respect.
as Biggie says, I'm gonna kick that fucking door in. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. And so
Straight
to
up.
move on with that too, my man. You got the new single out, Foul Child.
That's right.
On the cuts, Blanks on the beat again, and
Yep.
Casino out of Buffalo.
Rough Buff.
Woo! So you gotta tell me a little bit how that one came together too.
That's a funny story as well. So Blank sent me the beat, and instantly I was like, it's mine. Like, do not send anywhere. I already had the vision, and I already had the vision before I put it out. You know, the first line is back-to-back tracks, all flames. I'm LeBron with the heat. You know, first single pop, gotta go with the second one, pure fire. So I crafted my verse, and the hook placement was a bit different. You know, it's not your typical 8 bars, right? It's a bit shorter. So I'm thinking of a hook, and I'm like, you know what? The beat has a hard ass drum, but that melody in the background, you know, I'm like, you know, I got to get a hard hook for that. So there's a DJ who's, I'd say, quite renowned in the underground world, Tone Spliff.
I think we all know. Well, I mean, I know who Tone Spliff is 100%.
And if you don't know, just look at the Shady 45 list, because that man is in every fucking song. So I reached out to him. I had the whole idea. You know, I took the line, the sample. I sent it to him. I said, you know, this is the exact idea. He's like, let me work with it. He sent back the hook, and it was just, I got the wild style. And the way he scratched it was just, it's so unorthodox because of the way the structure is, but it was fucking brilliant. And it gave me that edge that I needed, and I heard. And then, so flash to G Casino. I heard him when he had a Benny feature, like a little while back. And I'm like, this man is grimy. And I'm a huge Griselda fan. Like, before the blow up, like that whole style is like, it's all me. Yeah. So I was like, man, I'd really like to, I can't get Benny because right now I just don't have the means to even contact that man. I'm going to get a Benny feature one day. Anyways, so I reach out to G Casino, and I'm like, man, like, salute to the work you're putting in. You know, you're killing it out here, and I'd love to work with you. After I heard him on Imperative's track Bricks, which was mental. He destroyed that verse. He had my favorite verse, Bar Down. So, you know, it took some time. We were chopping up. He's like, I'm down. I sent him a sample of like 15 seconds. He's like, I'm bodying that. So fast forward, it took like 5 months. You know, I was patient. And he sent me back his verse. I'm like, worth the wait. Like, you know, and he did that feature off the strength, you know, which is unheard of in the rapper world. You know what I mean? You got to pay to play these days, and it's a very pricey game.
Fact.
So he sent it. I got the mix and master, and shout out to B1. B1's my engineer for life. He mixed it, sent it back. I'm like, that shit's heat. Then obviously I started the promo. Shit was popping. And before it even dropped, got played on DJ Boogie, Lord Sear special. Before the song even dropped. And I was super hype on that. And the single's been doing fantastic, man. I think we're like 8 days in. It's at like 25,000 on Spotify. So the ball's rolling, brother.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And like you said, too, something off the strength in this industry, it's rare. You know what I mean? So when you find those relationships, you cater those because
that's right.
Those are solid individuals right there. And but it also goes to say too, it's nothing wrong with paying somebody for shit too, right? Because that's right, part of the game too. But when somebody does it on the strength, I'm not even gonna speak on that actually, anyways, because this for you. People can find out about that later. But it's a thing, man. And so with that being said, I assume you got an album you're working on in the mix. Is the whole album going to be produced by Blanks, or are you just kind of in the creation phases now and you're not kind of zoning yourself into anything specific?
So it's going to be 75% Blanks. This, because of the first single that that popped off, it has given me the grind that I need. So now I'm like full-fledged album mode. Blanks is definitely 75% produced it because this album was already in the works before Blanks. yeah, but Blanks is taking the reins. Like my next single that's coming up is going to be the biggest single. Like all other twos are great, but this third one, I'm telling you, the feature, wait till you hear it. I'm not playing around. Yeah, so Blanks is done 75%. There's 2 other producers that are on it, but I'm keeping it primarily Blanks. Me and him now have a brotherhood. That's pretty much going to be the team for my album, which exclusive news, this debut album is going to be 2 parts.
Woo, okay.
Yeah. 2 parts.
Are you going to release them simultaneously or space them out?
I'm going to space them out. So part 1's probably, I'm aiming for maybe June. I think I'm going to drop the first one. And then I'm halfway done the second one, still waiting on some ends to tighten up. And that one will come probably shortly after as well.
Dope, man. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear, man. Well, you know what, man? I'm rooting for you, brother. You know, like I said, man, I like the moves you've been making. There's nothing I respect more. 16-year-old me would respect Mike's skills over everything. 30-year-old me, I respect somebody who's serious about what they want to do just as much as I respect their mic skills, because the greatest rapper in the world is homeless on the corner somewhere begging for a bottle of booze. You know what I mean? But it's somebody who has the drive and the self-know-withal to want to invest in themselves and really take the proper steps to getting to where they want to go. And you got that going for you. You already had the bars, but you got that.
Thank you.
That's a pairing that I respect more than a lot of things in this game. So, I wish you the most power to everything that you're doing, my friend. I'm looking forward to the next single, the biggest one. I'm looking forward to the album, all that stuff. And by the way, for dropping that verse on Recognition, I will link you a beat on the house. I don't know if I told you that, but that's a favorite.
Nah.
Who puts a verse in for something. So, and just judging off your singles, I think I got the right one for you that you might even want to put on your album. But either way,
shit.
I'm going to send you a pack of a few tonight. I got one specifically in mind I think you're going to take, but I'll throw a few in there just to test the waters. But
salute.
Let's put that on the record, so you got to hold me accountable to that, all right? But
yeah.
But before we let this off, man, just one more thing I want to ask you is, if you could go back and talk to 16-year-old self rapping in the room, what's the biggest piece of advice you give yourself?
I probably would have told him to go for it a lot earlier. Take it more serious. And I could have probably been 10 times more ahead than I am now at 30 years old. I'm kind of taking the Griselda route where I'm starting to tread in my later years without doing the groundwork that they did,
Hey, you know what though, man? Everything happens as it's meant to. You know what I mean?
That's right.
No doubt, man. But yo, Jay Roberts, thank you for your time, my friend. This was another episode of Indie Spotlight. Jay Roberts, before we go, let them know how they can find you online, find your singles, all that good stuff.
You can find me on Instagram at jrobertsmusic, but it's j.robertsmusic on Instagram, and just Jay Roberts on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. That's pretty much where my shit's at.
Word up, my man. Well, thank you very much for your time, King. I appreciate it. Like I said, man, all the success and power to you. I'm looking forward to see what the future holds for you, my friend.